Here we have with us Mr. Robert Felix. Mr. Robert Felix, briefly describe your experience as a single parent slash father in college.
Um, I would say very, it's between hectic and very driven. Because once you have a child, it's not about yourself anymore. Um, a lot of things that you had to deal with before you had a child to when you do have a child, a lot of things before that have become luxuries, like one of them being failures. Being to fail is a luxury. So I would say being very hectic, having time to raise a child, provide for a child, go buy what a child needs, take care of a child, and still continue your educational path. You know, I would probably the most brief way to put it.
Has being a single parent altered your career path or made you think twice about your career path?
It did at first, especially being infantry. It really made me think, if something was to happen to me, what would happen to my son? I've had a couple of people tell me that the last thing you want to happen is, especially when your child is young, is if something happens to you, is another male raising your child. That's the worst thing that can happen. It did make me think if I wanted to do something after a certain amount of time, if I wanted to do a different field to kind of benefit anything once I got out the military within, a government job. It even changed as far as where I would want to be stationed at. At first, out of the country was my idea, but now I want somewhere in the country so I can be close to him. And yeah, I guess being more careful about what I choose to do.
What have you found to be most challenging about being a single parent in college?
Time management. Um, there's been minor things that I've missed, doctor's appointments and things like that, but I've been there for the most part. But a lot of the things, having to take care of something, scheduling appointments around classes, around work schedules, around, anything for the military, just trying to have everything at an even keel and still have time to spend time with Gabriel. That'd probably be the most challenging thing.
What have you found to be most rewarding about having a kid in college?
Growing as a person, taking care of somebody that his whole world revolves around you, because he knows nothing else. You are the provider, you are his role model, you are his everything. He wakes up next to you. When he speaks what you say. What he likes what you like. What he eats is what's off your plate. It's like kind of seeing yourself, at a younger age. So it's seeing how you came from somebody small to who you are today. And so when they mimic you, it's kind of rewarding to know that one day that child will become somebody great, somebody driven, somebody that can be somebody really important one day. And another rewarding thing to know is that what I said earlier, that failure is a luxury. There is no I can't, there is no I will not, there is no it's impossible. It has to happen because it's not about you anymore. I remember, being in a lot of pain. I hurt myself during a ruck march, and it was a 12-mile ruck march it was the very last thing that we had to do when we was at Fort Lewis. And my rucksack broke, and so it was digging in my back and on my spine, and so it actually started to peel off the skin and start rubbing in the skin and where the bone was. And I remember telling myself, because I actually was in the front of the formation, that I could not quit, that I had to finish it even though my rucksack was broken. I had to, bear the weight. It was like a 100-pound ruck, because at the end of that road, it meant that I did something to not just benefit myself in a career path, but my son. And so he was my motivation, to know that at the end, he would be at the finish line, that at the end, it would be him that I'm doing it for.
I was just about to pose that question, would you say that having a child in college is a motivator?
It could be, depending on the person. I did turn it into something positive. That I realized that I've become part of something a lot larger than anything I could have ever done in my life. That it did motivate me to do a lot better for myself. Time management, put things of a sophomore freshman mindset aside, and started thinking grown, as a grown man. Um, but I can see others how it could be, a hindrance or drawing them back because their child becomes a priority and they don't know how to manage your things, correctly. So, or even be able to provide, because I can see where it's difficult to go to school, work, and then also take care of a child.
Do you know of any resources out there for those that are single parents in college?
To be honest, no. Resources, as far as like any like scholarships or anything like that, no, I do not. As far as any daycare systems within colleges, I do not, especially not here in Columbus State. But I have heard of colleges that do have daycare centers and things like that where they'll watch your child. Even the gyms, they're now coming with daycare centers so parents can actually work out while their child's being watched. But none to my knowledge.
As raising a child as a single father, what would you say have been most helpful to you along this journey?
The people around me, the people that actually care about me and care about my son as much as I do. I have great support. I have a lot of people that want to see me succeed and want to see my son, grow up to be a great person, with great influence and great male role models, because a lot of us didn't grow up with a father figure or grow up with a positive male influence. So to have so many male influences, especially around my fraternity, it's amazing because everybody loves him, everybody cares about him, everybody wants to see him one day become like one of us. And I've noticed that with a lot of support, that helped out a lot too as well.
And my last question is, what advice would you give to a single parent in college, that is?
See it through, to be honest. Perseverance is very important. That hopefully, if they didn't learn it, that they will learn that it's not about them anymore. That they must succeed. That they have no choice.
When you speak of see it through, what is that? Is that a poem?
It is a poem, but it also means when things get tough, continue driving. Don't give up. Don't quit. Because no matter what, no matter how dark it might get in your world, that child will be your light. And you have to make sure that you always see the light.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Felix, for your time. We really do appreciate you having us with this project.
Anytime.
Thank you, sir.